Stitch Cutie, welcome to the video tutorial for block 2 of your Boo Crew block of the month. So what you get in the mail is this fun little box. It's a collaboration, as you know, with our friend Amy Brucken and then us here at Stitches of Love. So when you open it up, it's packaged all cute. I hate to rip it, it's so pretty, but I'm going right in for it. Okay, so when you open your box, you have your pattern. It's 3-hole punch, so it can go in your binder. You have a little treat of candy corn, because why not? And then you have all of your pre-fused laser cut applique pieces, and then you have your fabrics you need for the block. So let's set the box aside, and we're gonna go on and set our fabrics aside because what we're gonna do first is build our applique unit. So what we need is our applique placement guide. And even though you do have all of your pieces pre-fused and laser cut, of course you have your pieces reversed in case you wanna make a duplicate, a second one of this quilt. So you can see the instructions. It tells us what units we're gonna build. So pieces 1 through 8, 9 through 10, and 11 through 12. So what I'm gonna do is get all of my pieces ready to go. You can see you just snip them out of the little rectangle. I'll go on and give you a little preview of how you do that. It's really simple. So you just take one of them, and I like to use my Karen K. Buckley scissors. These are fantastic because they're sharp all the way to the end. And you just simply trim, boop, and your little pieces come right out. And so you just do a little bitty snip, another little snip there, and then down here on this end. There we go. So now we have our pieces. I like to have a little bowl to hold all of my pieces. So what I'm gonna do is get everything ready, and then I'm going to organize my pieces in number order, so I'll be back to show you how I do that. Okay, so we're back, and as you can see over here on the right, just a little off the camera, I have my pieces organized into little piles. So I organized pieces 1 through 8, and that unit is to make his little boot over here. Then 9 and 10 is the little spider that's on top. And then finally 11 through 21 is the whole center of your Frankenstein. So what we're gonna do in the video is create our applique units, put them together, and then we'll put it on our background fabric. So let's set this aside and let's get started. Oh, don't put your placement guide aside. You need that or you won't know what you're doing. So what I have in front of me, I have my Steady Betty, because I like ironing on this. It's such a great ironing surface, and you can put it on top of your table or anywhere. And then I have, instead of the Fusimat that I normally use, we have now started using the Precision Quilting Tools Precision Fusing Mat. It's the same size, 12 by 18. There's a few things I really like about it when we discovered this. One is that it's a little bit wider and clearer to see through than the Fusimat. And then what's really cool is in your box, it comes with a Teflon pressing sheet, like the classic pressing sheet, you know, and there are instances where you want to have these two as an option and sometimes use them in tandem. So I'm really excited that we have these to offer you all. And of course, Fusimat is still a wonderful option. I love the Fusimat. I have that over with my embroidery machine still. But for today's video, I thought it'd be fun to show you this other new thing. And you get both the Teflon and this one in one box, which is really cool. So check it out on our website if you haven't already. So let's get started, and what we're gonna do is build applique units. And there's something really cool about piece 3 and 4, which I'll show you in just a second. But first, let's get our little pile of pieces. And so what I do is I like to lay them out in order. So I laid piece number 1 down, then number 2, number 3 in my little pile so I don't have to think. So what I'm gonna do is just put piece number 1 right here in place. And just like the Fusimat, this has like a little bit of a stick to it, which I really like. Makes your pieces stay in the right place. So you're just gonna barely tap it down. And then we're gonna put piece number 2 in place right here. And again, we're just gonna barely tap it down. Now pieces 3 and 4, which are the legs, this is the cool part. So if you'll take a look, you'll see that there's like a weird line right here over piece number 4. Right? So I'm going to orient my 4 the right direction, and let me show you what happens. In your piece, there is a little slit, and what this is your little leg is going to tuck right in there. How cool is that? So I'm going to put this right in place, and then I'm just going to line up number 4 while it's in that slit. just like that. So cool. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure I tap up here where that overlaps, and then down here, let's see, I'm a little off place. Let me get this picked up just for a second before I press down. There we go. You wanna make sure your boot is in the right place with the bottom of your boot. There we go. So cute, this little boot. And we're gonna tap where that overlaps. Now the pieces that we're gonna put on are the accent pieces number 5, 6, 7, 8, which I have right here. Whoop. So I'm gonna bring those over. So the first one is this, and this fits right on the corner, so you don't really need to look at your placement. There we go, and we're gonna iron that quickly in place. And now, of course, it's hard to see through black fabric, right? So we're just gonna kind of guesstimate on 6, 7, and 8. So I'm gonna line it up in the orientation that it goes. And you can kind of use your eye to say, okay, here's where my gray is, here's where my 8 is. So we're gonna start by putting number 8, and then I'm gonna put 7. And it's just the accent on the shoe, right? So if it's, you know, not in the exact spot as the placement guide, that's okay. There we go. That looks like a really cute shoe to me. So I'm just gonna tap that in place. So now that first unit that we needed to create is totally done, right? So we've used pieces 1 through 8. So I'm just gonna move this aside and give myself some space on my workspace, on my mat, and we're gonna do number 9 and 10, which is super easy. This is our little spider. And we're just gonna put him in place. And with spider legs, they're, you know, long and thin, so you wanna be real careful. The legs can be delicate. And then number 10 right over it. There we go. And I'm just gonna tap down. I'm gonna try not to heat the legs because that makes it harder to pull them off the mat. So just right there in the center where it overlaps, I pressed it in place. So now that means unit 2 is totally done. So now we're gonna get to the big pieces, our actual Frankenstein, numbers 11 through 21. So I'm gonna give myself a lot more space to work with. So we'll pull it over here, and sorry, I think I just wiggled the camera for y'all, I apologize. So our first 2 pieces, 11 and 12, are his hands. So let's get this guy. Let's give him his little hands. So I'm just gonna tap it right there. There we go. Now our next piece is actually this huge piece right here. You've been wanting to put that down, I know. Because that's when he starts to come to life to me, when you start getting his little jersey in place. And again, with a long piece like this, you want to make sure you have it in the right position all the way over. See, he's a little off right here. So I'm just going to adjust it a little. There you go. And see, what I love about building units is if you're going to make a mistake, it's better to make it on your pressing mat, right? Than to make it on your actual quilts. That's what I think. So if you mess up, you can mess up here and fix it before you put it on your actual fabric. So where I'm gonna tap right now is just where the hands overlap. There we go. Now let's look at what our next piece. So we did 11, 12, 13. Now 14, let's see if you can see that, is our stripe across the bottom right here. So we'll take this. And again, you can't see through the purple, so what you're gonna do is just sort of eyeball. What's really nice, let me show you up close. See that little like dip on the left right here? Right there? That lines up with the little dip in his jacket. So let that be a guide. See, and then when you put that in place over here, it's a perfect ending over here. I love it. It's a perfect fit, just like it's supposed to be. So the next number is number 15, and that is this little yellow accent right here. And so I'm just gonna make sure I'm putting it the right direction. Yep. And it's easy to put in place because it's gonna be right in the center and it's going to line up perfectly at the top and the bottom. So as long as it's lining up here and down here, you know you have it in the right place, even if you can't see through to your pressing or to your applique guide. So now that was number 15. Let's see what number 16 is. Number 16 is our little stripes over here. So let's make sure we have the right stripe. Yep. So let's get that. Let's see where the stripe, right in here. There we go. And again, it's gonna line up perfectly. So you get it to that angle where the lines are a perfect match on the top and bottom of that piece, right? And we'll just gently tap that into place. And now over here, little pieces sometimes are hard to pick up. We have number 17. So we're gonna, again, just put this in place right there. How cute is his little jersey? I love it. It's so funny, I didn't even realize it was like a jersey until Mom pointed it out. But he's almost like a little football Frankenstein to me. Now, that was 17, 18, and 19 are our two little bolts on his head. So I'm gonna make sure I have the right one on the right side. So this is number 19. So this one is 18. And we just wanna make sure we get that in the right place right here. And we'll tap that down into place. And then we're gonna put number 19. So you can see building these units, everything comes together really quickly. And it's so easy. And again, you're eliminating the opportunity for making a mistake. And that's the best thing, no mistakes. So now we have our big face. It's gonna go right in place. Now with your face, when you put it on, of course, make sure it needs to overlap all the way around. And let me just start by getting it lined up at the top. There we go. So it's a perfect little Frankenstein. So where I'm gonna iron that is where it overlaps just quickly. And then the final piece, number 21, fits right at the top, and that is his little hair. So cute. And it just lines up right on the edge. There we go. So we'll press that in place. And now what we're gonna do, these 3 units that we built, we're gonna put them together. So what I'm gonna do, pull up my first unit, and let me just move this over so you can see a little more centered. There we go. Now this is gonna go underneath right here, right? So I need to just gently pull a little bit up, and I'm gonna line up my boots. I need to go up just a smidge. There we go. And I'm gonna press right here where they overlap. And then the final piece is our little spider, and he goes underneath. Remember, he's number 9 and 10, and his face is number 20 and 21. So you wanna make sure that you get your spider underneath. So you just gently pull that up a little, put this right in place. There we go. And we're just gonna press right here where it overlaps. There we go. So our Frankenstein unit is complete. So now give me just a second. We're gonna get our background fabric in place, and I'm gonna show you how to line it up perfect on your actual block. So now what you wanna have in front of you is your block. And again, we give you more than enough fabric than you need, because in the end, you'll end up trimming your blocks down before you put all your quilt together. So what I'm doing right now is just pulling up my Frankenstein gently. Be real careful with his little spider legs and his little arm. There we go. So now look, we have one perfect unit. So I'm gonna set my fuse and mat aside. There we go. And now what I wanna do, and this is where I would probably use my light box, but I don't have that set up in front of me. What you do is just simply line this up, and you're gonna line that black seam up perfectly straight right here. So you can see, have that straight right here. Perfect. And now you're gonna put your Frankenstein. So I don't have my light pad, so I'm gonna guesstimate about where my piece is gonna be. So right around that little line. Okay. You would wanna use your light pad here, but you're gonna take it and you're gonna put it centered, and it goes right about here and straight. And again, use your light pad. And then just check and make sure you have him where he goes. So I have my hands in place. Put him just a little this way. And he needs to go down just a smidge. There we go. But what you can do if you don't have a light pad is what I'm doing. I'm just sort of holding it in place, pull back, and make sure that it looks like it's lined up perfectly. So I'm happy with how this is. Oh, look, I have something under my nail. Sorry, y'all. And we are going to iron this then in our block. And now you really do want to hold it for a few seconds and make sure that you secure your Frankenstein across your entire block. And so once this is ironed on, it's time to do your stitching. And there's a really nice picture on the cover of your pattern so you can see the kind of stitching. So Mom used the pink on her spider, and then pretty much everywhere else she did black except on the yellow she did yellow. So the 3 colors you'll need for this month are that fun hot pink color, the yellow, oh, and the orange. Right here you need orange and then black. Now to do your accent lines right here, what I would do is take this and put it on a light pad, and then with the Pigma pen you can draw those lines so that you can then either use your sewing machine to stitch over that, or if you want to do hand embroidery, you could also do a little hand embroidery work right here. And again, the threads that we use are the 30 weight sulky thread in our needle and a 50 weight thread in our bobbin to get the perfect buttonhole stitch just like Mom. So you can continue on to the next video for this month, and that is where Mom is going to give you the actual stitch tips. I hope that this video tutorial was helpful. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. And from Stitches of Love and Amy Brucken Designs, thank you for being a member of this adorable Boo Crew Block of the Month.